Ito yung mga sasagutan natin today, and I will leave number 4 to you as an exercise that you can try on your own. So before proceeding to the rest of the video, you can try these out muna on your own, the first 3 items, and then kapag na-try nyo na siya on your own, balikan nyo yung video to see the solution. So for our first example, we have to find the mass of the solid G, where G is defined by the region of x from 0 to pi, y from 0 to 1, and z from 0 to pi over 6. And yung solid daw natin has density function xy sine z. So from the lecture, we know na we can set up this integral as na itsura nito. So, di ba, we have the triple integral over the region G nung density function. In this case, we have xy sine z, and then we have dv. And if you note, yung solid natin ay cube lang, no, or rectangular box. So, we can actually just do, kayo bahala kung gusto nyo dx, dy, dz, or whatever pag-iikot ng tatlong yun. So, halimbawa, sige, gawin na lang natin siyang from, so, xy sine z, gawin ko na lang siyang dz, dx, dy, or something like that. Again, kayo bahala kung paano nyo siya gustong i-order. In general, for box, depende na lang siya sa integrand nyo. No? Or I think ito naman relatively straightforward. And then, ang iingatan nilang palagi is yung order ng integration, dapat magtutugma yung limit. So, halimbawa, yung innermost integral nyo, so you have dz, so dapat itong pinakaloob, kasi sa z kayo una mag-integrate, you have 0 to pi over 6. Tapos ganun ulit. Sa x yung susunod, so you have x is from 0 to pi. And then lastly, si y yung pinakalabas. So yung pinakalabas na integral should be from 0 to 1. Okay? And then, let's just solve this triple integral. So again, uunahin nyo yung ito. Tama? So copy lang to 0 to 1, 0 to pi. We have integral ng xy sine z. Yung xy, magpa-function siya na constant. So, kahit ilabas lang natin yan. And then, yung integral ng sine zi, negative cosine z. And then, you have to evaluate this from 0 to pi over 6. And then, you have dx, dy. Huh? And this is just, ano ba to? So, ang cosine ng pi over 6i, so we have cosine ng pi over 6i negative, so you have minus cosine pi over 6i square root of 3 over 2 plus minus cosine 0i 1 na dx dy. Okay? And then simplify lang natin yan. We have 1 minus square root of 3 over 2 times xy dx dy. Okay? And then next, with respect to x na yung integration, so we have 0 to 1, yung y and yung 1 minus square root of 3 over 2 ay constant lang with respect to x. So yung x, kapag in-integrate, you have x squared over 2. And-evaluate that from 0 to pi. Okay. So simplify lang natin. So this is just 1 minus square root of 3 halves y. You have pi squared over 2 tapos minus 0. So yan na. So yan na. Last na. With respect to y, we just have 1 minus square root of 3 over 2 and pi squared over 2, sorry, are constant. So you just have y squared over 2 evaluated from 0 to 1. And that is just, so we have quantity 1 minus square root of 3 over 2 times pi squared over 2. Tapos itong y squared over 2 natin, this will be 1 half minus 0 when evaluated from 0 to 1. So we just have times 1 half nun. So finally, we get 1 minus square root of 3 over 2 times pi squared over 4. I think okay na yan kahit hindi nyo na sobrang i-simplify. That is our final answer. Okay, so for our next question, we have to evaluate this integral. Relatively straightforward naman, no? So, diretso na nating evaluate. So, again, ingat lang. First, we need to evaluate with respect to C. So, sige, copy lang natin to. So, first, we need to evaluate with respect to Z, no? So, we have xe to the y are constants with respect to z. So we just have 0 to 3, 0 to 1. So we have xe to the y times z, where z is evaluated from 0 to 1 minus x squared. You have dx dy. Alright? And then just evaluating that, we have xe to the y, tas meron tayong square root of 1 minus x squared, tapos minus 0. So yan na siya. Na? Okay, next. With respect to x naman. So, sige nga. Let's write this down na yung e to the y, yung e to the y, constant na yan, no? With respect to x. So, pwede ko siyang ilabas dito. So, meron akong 0 to 1. Here, x squared of 1 minus x squared dx dy. Okay. So, let's call this integral, say, star. For ganito example, baka misleading siya. Baka akalain nyo kailangan nyo mag-polar coordinates. Not necessarily. So, let's consider the integral star separately. So, tingnan muna natin yung improper integral. So, tingnan muna natin yung indefinite integral. This can be solved using u substitution, no? So, if you let u be 1 minus x squared, then du is negative 2x dx. So your indefinite integral would be negative 1/2 integral ng square root of u du. This is negative 1/2 u to the, so you have 1/2 plus 1, 3/2 all over 3/2 plus c, or we have negative, na-cancel ba? Magka-cancel yung mga to, no? So you just have negative 1/3, 1 minus x squared to the 3/2 plus c. Alright? Balikan natin yung natitira nating double integral. We have integral from 0 to 3 nang. So you have e to the y. This will now be negative 1/3, 1 minus x squared to the 3/2 evaluated from 0 to 1 dy. So simplify lang natin yung loob. We have, yung isa ay magkakaroon ng 1 minus 1, so 0. Tapos yung isa, magkakaroon ng 1 minus 0, so 1. So you just have, so we have negative 1/3 times 0, no, kasi 1 minus 1. And then minus negative 1/3 times 1 minus 0 is 1. So, finally, that will just be positive 1/3, no? Na pwede nating ilabas. So, we have 1/3 here. And then integral from 0 to 3 ng e to the y dy, which is just e to the y, no? And then evaluated from 0 to 3, we have 1/3 times quantity e cubed minus e to the 0. And our final answer is 1/3 e cubed minus 1. Okay, so for our last example, we need to evaluate this triple integral of xyz dv over the solid G, where the solid G is in the first octant, and it is bounded by the parabolic cylinder z equals 2 minus x squared, and the plane z equals 0, y equals x, and y equals 0. Okay, so kapag graph natin, it will look like this. Okay? And again, note yung blue ay yung plane na y equals x. Yung pink ay yung cylinder na z equals 2 minus x squared. Okay, and yun lang yung intercepts niya. And then, of course, your z equals 0 is just your xy plane. Your y equals 0 is just your xz plane. So, and then that's just the first quadrant, okay? So, we can look at the projection we can look at the projection nito sa xz axis, and it will look something like this. So, ikot-ikot nyo na lang para makita kung paano, no? So, it's that half of the parabola, no? Na z equals 2 minus x squared on your xz plane. So, now, looking at the bounds, ano yung magiging bounds natin for our solid G? So, again, in general pala, kung hindi naman sinabi kung anong order ng integration, kayo bahala sa buhay niyo kung anong gusto niyo gamitin. Use what's more convenient or intuitive. Again, pinakamaganda, ihuhuli niyo yung may constant, no? So now, tinan na lang natin you can take x to b from 0 to square root of 2, okay, from your projection. And then, from your projection also, yung value ng z will be from 0 to 2 minus x squared. And then lastly, your y is running from y equals 0 to y equals x. So you have from 0 to x. And then, now, we just need to translate this into the triple integral. So looking at yung triple integral ng xyz dv, dapat yan, I'm so sorry, pakicorrect na lang, dv over your solid G. Using yung projection natin sa xz plane, we have, if we call this r, we can write this as the double integral over r ng integral from, so kung r is x and z, yung natitirang integral sa pinakaloob ay dy dapat. No? Kasi y na lang yung natitirang variable. And then again, from kanina, y will run from 0 to x. So we have the integral from 0 to x ng xyz dy dA. And then for dA, again, pinakamaganda, ihuhuli nyo, pinakalabas yung may constant. Yung may constant dito ay yung x. So we have integral from 0 to square root of 2, ng integral of 0 to 2 minus x squared, ng integral from 0 to x ng xyz, tapos dy, and then dz dx. Dx yung pinakalabas. Okay? So again, the usual precautions, mag-ingat lang kayo, imamatch nyo kung anong integrand corresponds to which variable. Okay? And then we just integrate as usual. Ingat lang kayo always sa order of integration as usual also. So again, we first integrate with respect to y. X and z are constant with respect to y, so y just becomes y squared over 2, and we evaluate this from 0 to x. So this will become x squared over 2 minus 0 over 2. So that's just x squared over 2 and then times xz. Okay? So now we integrate with respect to z. X cubed over 2 will be constant with respect to z. So our z just becomes z squared over 2. And we evaluate that from 0 to 2 minus x squared. So plugging that in, that is 2 minus x squared quantity squared over 2 minus 0 over 2. So that's just 2 minus x squared all over 2 times x cubed over 2. And this is just now our usual integral. So we first expand, and then we distribute, and then nilabas ko lang yung 1/4 para lang mas madali siya i-handle. And so, pag in-integrate, you just use power rule on all of them. So, you're left with this. And then, evaluating from 0 to square root of 2. So, saksak nyo lang si square root of 2 sa everything. And then, minus 0 lahat. Kasi lahat ng terms may x. So, that will just be, after simplifying, 1/6. So, hindi ko na masyado in-explain yung integration process kasi nakarating na kayo Math 23. So if you have any questions on the previous lecture as well as the discussion today, please don't hesitate to contact your teacher.